The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stood on Vara Prime, a cold neutral world covered in gray stone. Inside, thousands of seats rose in wide circles around a huge open space. Lights from 100 different suns shone through the clear roof. Every kind of alien sat there. Tall beings with feathers, short ones with thick scales, floating gas clouds held in metal rings, and many more. They all watched the same thing. In the center, a tall hologram showed a small human colony called Harrow's Reach. The images were clear and cruel. Bright beams came down from ships in orbit. Cities turned to glass in seconds. Forests burned away. People ran, but there was nowhere to hide. The beams kept coming until nothing moved anymore. When the picture ended, silence filled the hall for a moment. Then low sounds started. Clicks, hisses, soft growls of agreement. Counselor Vexstar stepped forward. He was Clithian, tall and thin with a hard black shell that shone under the lights. His many eyes moved slowly across the crowd. He raised one sharp claw and spoke in the common trade language that everyone understood. Humans are not a real species, he said. They are pests. They spread too fast. They take worlds that belong to others. Look at what we did to Harrow's Reach. It was necessary. We removed a problem before it grew bigger. He paused. His voice became harder. I ask the Council to vote today. Make humans a target for full removal. No more colonies, no more ships, no more humans. We end them now, before they become a real danger. Many voices answered at once. Some shouted yes, others clapped their limbs or flashed bright colors in support. A few stayed quiet, but not many. The vote was already decided in their minds. Humans had been weak for too long. They talked about peace. They asked for talks. They never fought back hard. To most aliens, that meant humans were easy to crush. Far away, on Earth, the same images arrived. They came through a long delay relay, because the distance was so great. The message reached a small, dark room under the Pentagon. 3 people sat at a metal table. General Daniel Harper watched the screen without moving. His face looked like stone. Next to him was Admiral Laura Bennett. She kept her hands flat on the table, fingers straight. Colonel Nathan Cole sat across from them. He stared at the floor. The video looped again. Burning houses, silent streets, empty skies after the ships left. No one spoke for a long time. Daniel broke the quiet first. His voice was low and calm. They think we're insects. Laura looked at him. They said it out loud, in front of everyone. Nathan lifted his head. They showed the whole galaxy, like it was a lesson. Daniel stood up slowly. He walked to the wall and pressed a button. The screen went black. He turned back to them. We have talked for years, he said. We signed treaties, we gave up land, we let them push us, and this is what we get. He pointed at the dark screen. That colony had families, schools, farms. They were not soldiers. They were just people trying to live. Laura nodded once. The Council will vote soon. If they say yes, more colonies die. Then Earth. Daniel looked at both of them. No vote on our side, he said. No meeting, no committee. We decide now. Nathan leaned forward. What do we do? Daniel's eyes were steady. We answer, he said. Not with words, not with pleas, with action, the kind they never expected. Laura stood up too. Our fleets are ready. Yards in the outer belt have new ships. Weapons we never showed anyone. Daniel gave a small nod. Start silent, he said. No announcements, no leaks. Pull every ambassador home. Stop all trade ships. Let them think we're scared. Nathan smiled for the first time. It was not a happy smile. They will laugh, he said. They will say humans run. Good, Daniel answered. Let them laugh. It makes the next part easier. He walked back to the table and sat down. He pressed a key on the small console in front of him. A red light came on. Code Black Echo, he said clearly. Activate all reserves. Full war production. No limits. The light blinked twice. Somewhere deep under the earth, machines started. Lights turned on in dark factories. Engines roared in hidden shipyards. People who had waited years got new orders. They did not cheer. They just went to work. On Vara Prime, the vote happened fast. Vexthar stood tall as the results appeared in glowing letters above the chamber floor. 87% in favor, he announced. The mandate is given. Full removal of the human species begins in 30 standard days. Cheers filled the hall. Some aliens lifted their young ones to see better. Others sent messages home to share the news. They felt safe. They felt strong. They believed the humans would fold or run. Vexthar turned to leave the podium. His shell caught the light one last time. 30 days, he repeated. Then no more humans. He walked away. The crowd kept talking and celebrating. No one noticed the small human observer in the back row. She was a quiet woman named Emily Foster. She wore plain gray clothes like the other assistants. Her job was to watch and listen. She had heard everything. Now she sent one short message through a hidden channel. It had only 4 words. They voted to die. The message crossed light years in seconds. It reached Earth. It reached the dark room under the Pentagon. Daniel read it. He showed it to Laura and Nathan. They did not speak. They only looked at each other. Then they started planning. Outside, the sun set over Washington. Streetlights came on. People walked home from work. Children played in parks. Normal life went on. But under the surface, something cold and certain had woken up. 30 days. That was all the galaxy had left. After the vote on Vara Prime, the Galactic Council felt calm again. Aliens went back to their normal talks. They traded goods. They planned new colonies. They laughed about the humans. News channels across the galaxy showed the same thing over and over. Humans hide. Humans run. Humans are finished. Some even made jokes. They said Earth would beg for mercy soon. No one worried. On Earth, everything changed in a different way. No big speeches came from leaders. No flags waved in the streets. No crowds cheered in cities. The world looked almost the same from the outside. People still went to work. Children still went to school. Shops stayed open. But under the surface, a quiet storm started. Every human ambassador left their posts at the same time. They did not explain much. They just said, "We are returning home for consultations." Then they packed and left. Embassies closed their doors. Flags came down. Lights went off. Alien workers stood outside and watched in confusion. Some tried to ask questions. No one answered. Trade ships stopped moving. Cargo haulers that once carried food, metals, and machines to alien worlds turned back. They flew straight to Earth or to hidden stations. No messages came explaining why. Alien merchants waited at docks. Days passed. Weeks passed. Their goods sat unsold. Prices went up. Complaints filled trade channels. Still, no word from humans. The aliens called it fear. They said humans were scared after the vote. Some news anchors smiled as they spoke. See, they know their place now. Others said it proved humans were weak. No one thought deeper. No one asked why the silence felt so heavy. Deep in the solar system, far from prying eyes, the real work began. In the dark cold of the Kuiper Belt, huge machines woke up. Asteroids that looked empty from far away had hidden doors. Those doors opened. Lights flashed inside. Robot arms moved fast. Engines tested with low rumbles that no one outside could hear. Old shipyards under the moon's surface started again. Tunnels lit up. Cranes lifted giant pieces of hull. Workers in suits moved like ants on black metal. They built things no alien had ever seen. Ships with thick armor. Guns that fired pieces of metal faster than light could cross a room. Engines that could jump far without warning. These were not for show. They were for one thing only. In hidden bases on Mars and in orbit around Jupiter, factories ran day and night. They made drones by the thousands. Small, fast drones that looked like insects but carried bombs or scanners. They made missiles that could think for themselves. They made suits for soldiers that could survive in space or on burning worlds. Everything happened without noise. No press, no videos, just work. Captain Stephen Grant stood on the bridge of the new dreadnought, Eternal Vigil. The ship was so big, it blocked stars when it moved. Its hull was dark gray, almost black. No bright lights, no flags, just smooth metal and hidden gun ports. Stephen walked the decks every day. He checked every station. He spoke little. His crew knew why they were there. They did not need long talks. Commander Rachel Brooks took charge of a fast carrier group. Her main ship was called Independence. It carried hundreds of small fighters and bombers. She trained her pilots hard. They flew drills in empty space. They learned to strike fast and vanish. Rachel watched from her command chair. Her face stayed calm, but her eyes were sharp. She knew what came next. On the ground, Major Kevin Walsh trained new soldiers. They were called Orbital Shock Infantry. Young men and women from every country. They wore heavy black armor. They learned to drop from orbit in pods. They learned to fight in zero gravity. They learned to take ships from the inside. Kevin pushed them until they dropped. Then he pushed them more. Pain now saves lives later, he said. No one argued. All orders came in code. No names on open channels. Fleets moved in small groups. They stayed away from normal trade lanes. They hid behind gas giants or in asteroid fields. Sensors watched for alien scouts. None came close. The galaxy still thought humans were hiding in fear. 30 days passed slowly for the aliens. On Vara Prime, Counselor Vexthar prepared for the next meeting. He stood in his private room. His shell looked brighter after polish. He practiced his speech. He would say humans had no choice but to surrender. He would demand they give up all weapons. He would smile when they agreed. In the council hall, seats filled again. Aliens talked about the coming vote. They said it would be easy. Some brought gifts to celebrate early. They drank strange liquids. They laughed loud. On Earth, Daniel Harper sat in the same dark room. Laura Bennett stood next to a map that showed the whole galaxy. Red lines marked alien fleets. Blue dots showed human ships. Nathan Cole pointed at one spot. "They gather here," Nathan said. 80 ships, Clithian mostly, ready to start the cleansing. Daniel looked at the map for a long time. "They think we wait," he said. Laura crossed her arms. "Our people are in place. Charges planted months ago. Disruptors ready. Cloaks active." Daniel nodded once. "No more waiting," he said. "When their deadline ends, ours begins." He turned off the map. The room went dark except for small red lights. Outside, night covered the planet. Stars shone cold and far. Most people slept. They did not know fleets moved in silence. They did not know factories never stopped. They did not know soldiers sharpened blades in quiet rooms. But the machines knew. The people who built them knew. The galaxy had laughed. Soon it would learn silence could be louder than any shout. 30 days were almost gone. Something ruthless was coming. The 30th day came like any other for the aliens. On Vara Prime, the council hall filled early. Seats were full. Bright colors flashed on screens. Aliens talked in low voices. They waited for the start of the cleansing. Counselor Vexthar stood near the main podium. His shell shone fresh. He looked calm and proud. He believed everything was under control. In deep space, at the edge of human territory, the Clithian battle fleet waited. 80 ships hung in formation. Their hulls were long and sharp. Engines glowed blue. Commanders on the flagships checked weapons one last time. They would move soon. First target, 3 human outposts. Then more. The orders were clear. No survivors. No mercy. The fleet commander, a Clithian named Zorak Vel, sat in his chair. He touched a panel. "All ships report ready," he said. His voice carried across the fleet. Answers came back fast. Green lights filled his screen. He smiled with his mandibles. "Begin advance," he ordered. The ships moved forward together. Space looked empty ahead. No human ships showed on scanners. No warnings. No defenses. Zorak Vel felt satisfied. This would be easy. Then it happened. Without sound or flash, every command ship lost power at the same moment. Lights died, screens went black, engines stopped, gravity fields failed, crews floated in sudden darkness. Alarms screamed for a second, then cut off. Backup systems tried to start. They failed too. On the flagships, small explosions ripped through engine rooms, fire bloomed in tight halls, metal tore, air rushed out. Crews in suits tried to seal breaches. Too late. More blasts followed, one after another. Perfect timing. No warning. The charges had waited months. Tiny devices planted by human freighters long ago, disguised as normal cargo, hidden in fuel lines and power cores. They waited for the right signal. That signal came now. Across the fleet, 37 ships broke apart first. Hulls split. Pieces spun away. Secondary explosions lit the black like short stars. The rest tried to turn. They could not. Thrusters were dead. Weapons would not fire. Before anyone could send a message, new shapes appeared on what little scanners still worked. Human ships dropped their cloaks. They came from every side. Close, too close. Dark hulls with no lights. Silent killers. The first shots were not beams or missiles. They were railguns. Long streaks of metal moved so fast they hit before scanners could track them. Armor cracked like glass. Ships folded in half. Debris clouds grew fast. Human fighters poured out next, small and fast. They flew in tight groups. They targeted engines and weapon ports. Lasers cut through weak spots. Explosions followed. One Clithian cruiser tried to fire back. Its main gun charged. Too slow. A human penetrator slammed into the barrel. The gun exploded inward. The whole ship broke open. Zorak Vel floated in his ruined bridge. Emergency lights blinked red. His crew shouted. Most were already dead. He reached for the emergency beacon. His claw touched the button. Nothing happened. Every relay buoy in the sector had been swapped months earlier. Human copies sat in their place. They blocked all signals. No cry for help left the area. The battle stayed hidden from the galaxy. 90 minutes passed. That was all. When it ended, the Clithian fleet was gone. 80 ships became clouds of hot metal and ice. Bodies floated frozen among the pieces. No escape pods launched. No life signs remained. On Vara Prime, the council meeting started. Vexstar stepped to the podium. He opened his mouth to speak. A side screen flashed. Urgent alert. The hall went quiet. Images appeared. Then, clear. A field of wreckage. Twisted hulls, Clythian markings still visible on some pieces. No movement, no lights. Vexstar stared. His mandibles opened wide. No sound came out. More images came. Close-ups, burned sections, frozen crew still strapped in seats. A command ship split down the middle. Its bridge opened to space. Whispers started in the hall. Then louder voices. Some aliens stood. Others sat frozen. Vexstar tried to speak. This cannot be. It is a trick. Humans do not have. Another image appeared. A human ship in the middle of the debris. Dark, still, watching. The hall filled with noise, fear, anger, confusion. One alien shouted, "They were waiting." Another said, "How did they know?" Vexstar slammed a claw on the podium. "Silence," he called. His voice shook. "We will send more ships. We will—" A new message came through, short, clear, in the common language. It appeared on every screen in the hall. First payment received, more due. No sender name, no signature, just those words. Vexstar looked around. Many aliens stared back. Their eyes were wide. Some started to leave their seats, slowly at first, then faster. On Earth, in the dark room under the Pentagon, Daniel Harper watched the same images. Laura Bennett stood beside him. Nathan Cole leaned against the wall. "They never saw it coming," Nathan said quietly. Laura nodded. "Phase 1 complete. No losses on our side." Daniel kept his eyes on the screen. "Good. Now they know we can hit back." He turned to them. Move to Phase 2. No delays. Laura pressed a button. Orders went out. Silent. Fast. In space, human ships turned away from the wreckage. Engines glowed soft. They vanished into the dark again. The galaxy had just lost its first illusion. It would lose many more. The galaxy woke to silence after the first fleet vanished. No one knew the full truth yet. Alien news channels called it a mystery. Some said the Clithians made a mistake. Others whispered about human tricks. But deep inside, fear started to grow. Earth did not wait for questions. Human ships moved out in every direction. They followed old paths the aliens had used to reach human space. Every route, every jump point, every weak border. The orders were simple and cold. If a species ever attacked a human world, their home became fair game. Admiral Laura Bennett led the main strike group. Her flagship was a heavy battlecruiser named Retribution. It carried thick armor and guns that could punch through anything. Behind her came destroyers, carriers, and support ships. They jumped straight to the Clithian home system. No warning, no message, just arrival. The Clithians had strong defenses, orbital stations, minefields, patrol fleets. They thought no one could reach their core worlds. They were wrong. Laura's ships appeared close to the main shipyards. Too close. The first volley came from railguns at short range. Massive rounds hit the yards. Metal structures bent and broke. Fuel tanks exploded in bright fireballs. Secondary blasts chained together. Whole platforms turned to scrap in minutes. Clithian defense ships rushed out. They fired beams and missiles. Human point defense systems lit up. Lasers burned incoming threats. Small drones swarmed forward and blocked more. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, the Clithian home fleet floated in pieces. Laura's group took almost no damage. They did not touch civilian cities. They did not bomb homes. They hit only military targets. Shipyards, weapon factories, command centers, fuel depots. One by one, the Clithians lost their ability to build or fight. Their leaders watched from bunkers as their power slipped away. At the same time, other human groups struck elsewhere. A fast task force hit Zorath border worlds. They had helped glass Harrow's reach. Now their mining stations burned. Another group moved against the insectoid allies who voted yes. Their relay stations went dark. Their trade hubs lost power. On the ground, Colonel Nathan Cole led the hardest part. His orbital shock infantry dropped onto colonies the aliens had taken years ago, places humans once called home. The aliens still held them. They had built bases there. They kept human survivors as workers, or worse. Nathan's pods fell from orbit like black rain. They hit hard. Soldiers in heavy armor burst out. They moved fast. They cleared buildings room by room. No prisoners among the occupying troops. The message was sent in every alien language through open channels. You came to erase us. We return the favor. On one world called New Dawn, the fighting lasted 3 days. Alien soldiers fought hard at first. Then they broke. They ran. Nathan's troops followed. When it ended, the colony was free again. Human flags went up. Survivors came out of hiding. They cried. They hugged the soldiers. But Nathan did not smile. He looked at the burned fields and said, "This is only the start." Back in space, human broadcasts reached the Galactic Council. Short, clear, no anger in the voice, just fact. A list appeared on every screen in the hall. 47 worlds. Names of planets whose leaders or crowds had cheered when Harrow's reach died. Each name had one word after it. Target. The hall went quiet. Aliens who once laughed now sat still. Some looked sick. Others tried to speak. No words came. Counselor Vexstar stood at his seat. His shell looked dull now. Cracks showed from stress. He raised a claw. "This is madness," he said. "Humans break every law. They attack without reason." A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It was General Daniel Harper. He wore plain black. No medals, no rank signs. His face looked tired but steady. You voted to end us, Daniel said. You showed the galaxy our people burning. You called it necessary. Now you see what necessary looks like. He paused. We do not want your worlds. We do not want your people dead. We want the killing to stop. Retract your vote. Pay for what you destroyed. Stay out of our space forever. Do this, and it ends. Refuse, and we keep going. The hologram faded. Vexthar shouted, We will fight. We will unite. But the hull stayed quiet. Many seats were empty now. Species who lost fleets did not come. Others sent lower helpers instead. Fears spread faster than orders. On Earth, Daniel watched reports come in. Laura sent updates. Nathan sent ground images. Every strike worked. Every target fell. Losses were low. The plan held. Daniel turned to a window. Night covered the city. Lights glowed below. Normal life continued. People ate dinner, watched shows, slept. They did not know the galaxy trembled. But Daniel knew. He spoke softly to the empty room. They wanted us gone. Now they learn what it costs to try. In deep space, human ships patrolled. Engines hummed low. Guns stayed ready. Crews watched scanners. They waited for the next order. The escalation did not stop. It grew. More worlds received the list. More names added as proof came in. Cheers recorded. Votes counted. Each one became a target. The council tried to meet again. Fewer came. Some species sent apologies in secret. Earth answered the same way every time. One message, one list, one word. Target. The galaxy felt small now. Once it seemed endless. Now it felt like a cage closing in. And at the center stood Earth. Quiet, patient, ruthless. The great hall on Vara Prime felt empty now. Many seats stayed vacant. Dust gathered on them. Lights seemed dimmer. The aliens who still came sat far apart. They spoke in whispers. No one laughed anymore. No one flashed bright colors. Fear hung in the air like smoke. Counselor Vexthar walked to the center podium alone. His once shiny shell looked rough and scarred. Cracks ran across it from hurried escapes and broken ships. One antenna hung limp. He tried to stand tall. His many eyes moved slowly over the thin crowd. He raised a claw. His voice came out weak at first. We must act, he said. Humans have gone too far. They destroy without reason. They threaten the whole galaxy. We need new sanctions. We need a united fleet. We need... His words stopped. A low hum filled the hall. Every screen lit up at once. A single hologram appeared in the middle of the open space. It was large, clear. It showed a man in plain black clothes. No bright marks, no fancy uniform. Just General Daniel Harper. His face looked calm. His eyes looked straight ahead. The hall went completely quiet. Daniel spoke. His voice carried to every corner without effort. You gathered here many times. You watched our people burn. You voted to erase us. You called us pests. You thought we would beg. You thought we would run. You were wrong. He paused. No one moved. This is not revenge, he continued. This is what happens when you try to wipe out a species that never asked for war. We defended ourselves. We will keep defending until the threat ends. He looked around the hologram as if he could see every face. The killing stops today if you do three things. First, every species that voted yes must retract that vote. In public. On record. Second, you pay reparations to the survivors of Harrow's Reach and every other colony you attacked. The amount will be set by our people. Third, you accept permanent exclusion from human space. No ships, no probes, no contact unless we allow it. Daniel's voice stayed even. Refuse any part of this, and we continue. We have the ships, we have the weapons, we have the will. We will not stop until the lesson is learned by every world that cheered our deaths. The hologram showed a simple list. The same 47 names from before. Some had red marks next to them now. Those worlds had already lost their main defenses. Others still waited. Daniel looked directly forward. You have one standard week. Send your answer through the old relay on Neutral Channel 7. We will listen. After that, no more chances. The hologram faded. The hall stayed silent for a long minute. Then Vexthar tried to speak again. This is blackmail, he said. His voice cracked. We cannot bow to... A few aliens stood up. One was a tall feathered being from the outer rim. She spoke loud. Enough, Vexthar. Your vote brought this. Your words started it. My people lost 3 fleets already. We will not lose more. Others nodded. Some left their seats without a word. Vexthar stared after them. His claw dropped to his side. On Earth, Daniel sat in the same dark room. Laura Bennett stood by the window. Nathan Cole watched a screen that showed incoming messages. The first ones came in already. Short apologies, offers to talk, promises to pay. Laura turned to Daniel. They're breaking, she said quietly. Daniel nodded once. They had to see it first, he answered. Now they understand. Nathan looked up. Some still fight, he said. Small groups. Stubborn ones. Daniel stood. Then we finish it, he said. No half measures. Outside the Pentagon, dawn came over the city. The sky turned soft pink. Birds flew. People walked to work. Cars moved on roads. Life went on as if nothing changed. But everything had changed. In space, human ships kept watch. They patrolled wide circles around human worlds. Their sensors stayed sharp. Their guns stayed loaded. Crews slept in shifts. They knew peace might come. They also knew it might not. On distant worlds, alien leaders met in secret rooms. They argued. They counted losses. They looked at empty shipyards. They read lists of dead. Some cried. Some cursed humans. Most just sat in silence. 1 week passed. Messages arrived on Channel 7. One after another. Species after species. They retracted votes. They agreed to pay. They promised to stay away. Some sent full apologies. Others sent only the required words. It did not matter. Earth accepted them all. Vexthar said nothing. His home system became quiet. No more signals came from there. Scouts reported ruins where great cities once stood. No one knew if he still lived. No one cared enough to ask. The Galactic Council Hall opened again one last time. Fewer than 20 species attended. They voted to dissolve the old rules about humans. They made new ones. Humans were no longer pests. They were equals. No one argued. A small human observer sat in the back again. Emily Foster. She watched without speaking. When it ended, she sent one message home. It's over. On Earth, Daniel read it. He closed his eyes for a moment. Then he stood. Stand down offensive operations, he ordered. Keep defensive patrols. Help the survivors rebuild. Laura and Nathan nodded. The room went quiet. Far above, in the black between stars, human ships turned slowly. Engines cooled. Guns powered down. But they did not sleep. They watched. The galaxy had learned something new. Humans were not weak. Humans were not kind when pushed too far. Humans remembered.